Okay, so you know how everyone's talking about self-driving cars, right?
Right.
But what if, like, instead of the car being smart,
Uh-huh.
the driver was? That's kind of the whole idea behind this Optimus thing from Tesla.
Yeah, it's interesting how they're approaching that.
Yeah, and it's got me thinking, like, what if this is a whole different way to think about self-driving?
Totally. It is a totally different way to think about it.
Because instead of, getting a brand new car
Yeah,
that's self-driving,
right.
you just get this Optimus thing,
Mhm.
which, from what I'm reading, can drive, like,
Eh.
anything. It's
Yeah.
not limited to
Yeah.
specific models or years.
It's almost like remember when we were kids and you would get those little toy cars?
Oh, yeah.
You could put them on a track.
Right.
And it would just like follow the track no matter what.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, but for your actual car.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that jumped out at me in this document. It's
Yeah.
like Optimus could make autonomous driving way more accessible
Right. Absolutely.
because you wouldn't need to buy a whole new car.
Exactly. You're not priced out
Right.
of the market just
Yeah.
because you can't afford a brand new Tesla or whatever.
Yeah, it's like suddenly your,
Yeah.
2005 Honda Civic could be self-driving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, right? It democratizes the whole concept.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about like the driving itself.
No, that's right. It's more than just driving.
Right. This source talks about Optimus doing other stuff too.
Yeah, like what kind of stuff?
Like think running errands.
Oh, wow.
Maybe even some like basic home maintenance stuff.
So it's like
All while your car's just parked.
it's like having a personal assistant
Yes.
that can also drive.
Exactly.
That's wild.
So you could be like, okay, Optimus, go grab the groceries.
Yeah.
And then later you're like, hey, can you help me put together this IKEA furniture?
And it's the same
Same robot.
robot.
Doing both things.
That's kind of blowing my mind.
It's pretty wild.
And the thing that's crazy is they even talk about it in here. Oh, yeah.
Like using Optimus for like
Oh, like gig work. Gigging, exactly.
like driving for Uber.
Yeah.
But get this, in a classic car.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what they're saying.
Like, imagine, like, a beautiful, like, 67 Mustang pulls up, and
Yeah.
it's like,
And Optimus is
Optimus is the one driving.
driving.
That's a whole different experience
Yeah, that's amazing.
than just getting in, like, a,
A regular.
Toyota Camry or something.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who wouldn't want to
Right.
ride in a vintage car?
And I bet people would pay a premium for that.
For sure. And the document even talks about how,
Like a novelty thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
how cost effective that could be.
Oh, interesting.
Because Optimus could like
Okay.
handle the driving
All right.
and the car maintenance.
Oh, wow.
So you're saving money on like
On everything.
repairs and stuff.
Yeah, that's huge. Especially with how expensive everything is these days.
Right. It's like your mechanic and your driver all rolled into one. Exactly. And if you're like an Uber driver,
Yeah.
those savings go right back to you.
That's a game changer.
Big time.
It makes you wonder, though, right? Like, if robots can do all this,
Yeah.
driving, repairs, errands,
Mhm.
how does that change the way we think about
Our economy.
work,
Like everything.
everything? It's a lot to process.
It is a lot.
But let's stick with transportation for now.
Okay.
Because this whole Optimus thing,
Yeah.
it raises another big question.
Okay. What's that?
Will people even buy new cars anymore?
Oh, that's a good question.
If you can just
Right.
upgrade your old one
Yeah.
with an AI driver.
Right. Why would you?
Right.
Unless it was like a status symbol or something.
Yeah. Or maybe if you just really like
The smell of a new car.
get new car smell.
There's something about that new car smell.
There is.
But I don't know if it's worth like
Yeah.
the cost of a whole new car.
Right. And that's for me. It's like this document is making me rethink
Totally.
the future of cars. Like, will we see more people holding on to
Their old cars.
their old cars?
Yeah.
Maybe tricking them out,
Oh, interesting.
instead of trading them in every few years.
Making them unique.
Exactly. And what about like classic cars?
Oh.
Like, imagine if everyone could be cruising around
And like
in
it's
vintage cars
a 57 Chevy.
because Optimus is handling all the driving.
That would be so cool.
Right. It's like saying goodbye to that,
Oh, the bank.
like, boring
Yeah.
transportation.
Just purely practical.
And hello to something way more
Personalized.
personalized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, who wouldn't want to ride around in a restored VW bus,
Oh, man.
knowing Optimus is navigating the traffic?
Sign me up for that.
Right. It just makes you think about that
That connection.
connection we have with our vehicles.
Yeah.
Like, will we still care about driving
Will be fun anymore.
if robots can do it for us?
Yeah. Or will it be like
Or will owning a car become more about
more about
personal style
expressing yourself?
than just getting around?
Yeah. Well, we'll be like art.
It's a trip to think about.
It really is.
And this document doesn't give us all the answers.
No, but it gets you thinking.
It really does.
Which is, I think, the first step.
For sure. But before we go too far down that road,
Okay.
let's pump the brakes a little bit and talk about the potential downsides.
Yeah, because it's not all sunshine and rainbows.
Right, because no technology is perfect.
Exactly.
And this one's no different.
Right.
There are definitely some challenges to consider.
For sure. Like, what are some of the downsides they talk about?
Well, for starters.
Okay. Yeah, like, where do we even start with that?
Well, I mean, the big one for me is
Yeah.
safety.
Right. Like, how do we know
Yeah.
these Optimus things are going to be safe?
Exactly. Like, can we really trust
The roads
bots to drive
with our lives.
our kids?
Yeah, that's a big one.
And the document kind of touches on this,
Okay.
but it doesn't really get into,
The specifics.
like how it all actually works,
Right.
which makes me a little uneasy.
Sure.
Because we're talking about,
Like real world situations.
with real people.
Not just like other cars.
Driving around a track.
Exactly. Like I read that part about Optimus being able to like
Yeah.
analyze the road conditions
Okay.
to protect like
The suspension.
a classic car suspension.
Right.
Which is cool.
That's pretty impressive.
But can it like
React.
to like black ice?
Sudden downpour.
Yeah.
A kid running out into the street.
That's the thing with AI, right?
Yeah.
It's only as good as
The data it's trained on.
the data and
that.
the algorithm.
So what happens
When
to
something unpredictable happens.
Exactly. And then there's the whole question of
Liability.
who's responsible
Right. Like if something goes wrong,
if there's an accident.
is it the person who owns the car?
Right, because it's their car.
But then is it the company that made Optimus?
Yeah. They're the ones who built the robot.
Right.
But it gets even weird. How so?
What if we start blaming the AI itself?
Oh, wow.
Like, can you imagine taking a robot to court?
That's getting into some
I know, right?
science fiction territory.
Total Black Mirror episode waiting to happen.
Right. Okay, but seriously, though.
Okay.
This document does make a point.
What's that?
It says that accidents might actually become
Less frequent?
way less frequent with AI drivers.
Oh, because
If they don't get distracted.
get tired. They don't get
Road rage.
road rage. They're not
Sorry.
texting and
They're
driving.
actually perfect drivers.
Well, in theory.
In theory. Yeah. Which is a big if,
It is a big if.
because we're putting a lot of faith in technology.
Right. Like, it sounds great on paper,
Sure.
but in the real world,
Yeah, who knows?
who knows?
And you know what else they talk about?
What's that?
This whole idea that to
Yeah.
really make this work,
Yeah.
we might need to, like,
Change the way our cities are designed.
exactly. Like, what if we didn't need, wow.
Traffic lights anymore.
The cars could all just
Communicate with each other.
talk to each other.
Yeah.
That's wild,
And then there are the jobs.
right? Like, what happens to all the
Taxi drivers,
truck drivers, delivery drivers?
Uber and Lyft drivers.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of livelihoods.
And the document doesn't sugarcoat it either.
Right.
Like, it straight up says
It acknowledges that
this is going to have a huge impact.
on the job market.
But it also talks about, like,
Solutions.
retraining programs and stuff.
Yeah, like maybe we can help these people
Okay.
transition into different roles.
Yeah, like teaching people
Exactly.
how to code the robots.
Yeah. Or design the system.
And maintain them.
Exactly.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
No. But it's definitely something
Something to think about.
to be aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if we figure out all the
Practical stuff.
safety stuff,
And the job stuff.
there's still the question of,
Of whether people will actually embrace it
like, will everyone be on board?
with having a robot drive them around.
That's a good question.
It is a good question.
It's kind of like, remember when everyone was saying that, like,
Yeah.
that iPod was going to kill the music industry?
Yeah. Or like digital downloads are going to keep
Yeah.
CDs.
Yeah.
And now we're all just
Exactly.
streaming everything.
Like, things change, but
But not always.
not always how you think they will.
Right. And sometimes it takes a while.
Totally. And
Yeah.
this document makes me think that.
Right.
Like, yeah, not everyone's going to be comfortable.
Jumping into a car with a robot driver.
Right. Like, some people,
Some people love driving.
we love
They're going to miss
that feeling of
being behind the wheel.
control the open road.
Or maybe they just can't afford it.
That's true, too. Like,
Because this document mentions like
Yeah.
subscription services.
yeah. Like, what if it's
What if it's like
more expensive?
way more expensive
If
than
it's
just
owning a car,
owning your car?
especially if you're not
Yeah, if you only drive
driving all the time.
like once a week or something.
Exactly. But then again,
Then again,
this document also says
yeah.
that
Yeah.
that this whole thing could change
Change how we
how we own cars.
Oh, interesting.
Like maybe instead of everybody
Everybody having their own.
having their own car, it's more like
We're sharing.
we're sharing cars.
Yeah, like a big
Pool of cars.
fleet of Optimus powered.
Optimus powered, yeah.
Just waiting to whisk you away.
That's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool.
But it's also like,
A little weird.
yeah, like will people go for it?
Who knows? That's the big question.
Right. And it's not just about the cars either.
No, it's like this whole
It's a whole
way of life.
Yeah, like how do our cities change?
Right. Do we still need
Do we need parking lots anymore?
parking garages, all that space?
What about gas stations?
Oh, yeah.
Like it just makes you think about
Everything differently.
everything. And honestly,
Yeah.
that's what I love about these deep dives.
Me too.
Is like you start with one little idea.
Like robot drivers.
Yeah. And
The
suddenly
whole world looks different.
Exactly. So what do you think? Are you ready for a future with Optimus behind the wheel? Or are you going to stick with good old-fashioned driving? Let us know in the comments, and we'll catch you on the flip side of the next deep dive.
Is he there?